Okay, good morning and welcome everyone to the Settling Scores, Path to Glory, Taming the Tempestus. I'm Nick, here with...
I'm Nick.
Nick and Nick, taking you through episode 3. We're just taking you through our pre-tournament kind of recap, where we're at, how the armies have been going, and what we've been doing. Because we'll be dropping in G-Bung.
Well, dude.
So first, I just want to introduce each other's kill teams. Nick, this is your amazing little kill team, introducing the super high Aquilons.
Yeah, I painted them up pretty colourful. Adam's like, God damn, dude, that looks like a mushroom trip. He's like, you've got to add some mushrooms to the base. I was like, dude, I actually had some prepared.
I love the mushrooms. The mushrooms really sell the drama.
Yeah. So this is a real kind of Alice in Warhammer Land style vibe, I think. Yeah, lots of colours. I've just kind of gone as crazy as I can whilst keeping some kind of coherent team theme.
I love it. Where'd you get these mushrooms from?
From another little 3D print project. They're meant to be like kind of like little mushroom men that follow along like a big mushroom man. And I just had a bunch of them sitting on the bench, like for a different thing I was working on. And I was like, wait a second, I can just retcon this, throw them on the Aquilons. The other thing I did here, which isn't super obvious, but the helmets are different colors and the shoulder pads, and that's so I know what models I've got on the table. So the yellow models are people that can do melee. The purple models are the gunners and the gunfighter and like the sniper. The pink helmets are the pink helmets are the gunners. The purple ones are the specialists. And then the red ones are the troopers. So it's very easy for me to just quickly look.
That is great. A little sneaky little color sorting.
Yeah, dude. Because otherwise, I just look at them like, what's this one do again? And then I have to look at the stat sheet to actually see which model it is. So I'm pretty bad at recognizing things.
Oh well, they came out great, and I love the little color coordination as well.
Thank you,
and the
dude.
Mushrooms.
Appreciate it. But speaking of things coming out great, Nick, let's introduce Waluigi's Hounds of Love.
Waluigi.
Waluigi.
These are my Hounds of Love.
Dude, these guys look great.
Them.
These guys look great. I think.
Thank you.
I think your neatness and attention to detail really shines here by keeping it simpler and less busy. Compared to a billion different colors like I've done, these things just pop so nicely.
They took forever. I hated it. I hated the painting process. These, personally, I think I just locked myself into a system of painting that I wasn't enjoying, just because it's very, putting down 3 or 4 thin layers and then cleaning up doing the trim just took so long. Yeah. Because I primed them black because all those a lot of the cloth is black, so I was like, I don't want to worry about that, and then decided to put in some yellow and browns there to mix with Waluigi, and really Hounds of Love got me through it. Some Kate Bush.
Your armbands with your little monitors where you've actually put like green and then like a signal. I was thinking about doing that, and I was just so tapped out by the end of it. I was like, I'm just doing it green. There's no extra detail that's going to be added to that. So
that was really the coup de grace for me. I did it, and I was like, I can't do anymore. I'm so done. That was the tipping point. That was like one of the last things I did. I was like, I'm so done.
Yeah.
I wanted to add some like backwards L's for the heads for Waluigi, but I was like, I'm not doing this to myself. I refuse to do this to myself. I don't have to do this. I look around. I don't have to do this.
No one's making me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
why they're not based either.
The next team, I think, like 6 operatives, right? 5 or 6 operatives.
Yeah. Well, the orcs were a joy to paint. That was because that actually had some techniques in there that I enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
But this was really just like color it in, get it neat. They're just so much is going on in them.
Yeah, for sure. They're very busy little models, that's for sure. Uh,
So we got some two great looking teams ready to drop on the table.
yeah, absolutely. We're going to be hot dropping this weekend. Before we get into what we're doing and how we're doing it, let's just do a quick meta recap.
Meta recap. Where are we sitting?
Nick, do you want to run us through how we feel about this?
This is interesting. Obviously, the balance. I don't know. So we could take statistics in a few different directions. Obviously, the balance update has helped a lot. With the Tempestus Aquilons win rate, so the small changes they got, an 11 operative team, we talked about at the start. I think 11 operatives really doesn't help necessarily, but it does give you a lot of extra bodies to mess around with, and maybe that's a really big deciding factor.
Well, just the extra body we take as well is like our best gunner, right? Like one of our best gunners. So it's not like we get an extra trooper
either.
Yeah. So if we had got an extra trooper, it would have been like, ugh, who really cares? But the fact that we got, a decent gunner, like the access to the survey sentry, for example, it just provides a lot of extra threat area, and it can just help other people kind of play around us a little bit more, which might kind of give us a little bit of an edge. So, yeah, I think you're 100% right, Nick. We've gone from, 37 or 42% or something like that to 47 overall. Which is definitely an improvement.
It's a big improvement. I still would have rathered, personally, maybe some other rule changes than just an extra body. It obviously is very helping. It's helping a lot, being 11 bodies. And I wonder as well, like the distribution of players, so who's coming back to play them? Obviously, we don't have this type of data, but also I wonder if there's a skewed metadata in terms of people coming back and able to recognize the balanced data slate and then coming back to play them, and those people are winning as well. But obviously, what's happening is working, and it's good to see.
I think if we look at this next slide, we'll have some more concerns around this. So let's go through overall stats. This takes into every size competition and every amount of rounds from 1 right through to 9. Now, if you drill down a little bit though, and just tweak the number of rounds and the number of players. Now, the number of players isn't as important, but basically what I wanted to focus on was the number of rounds, and what I wanted to do was just look at, okay, if you eliminate 1 and 2 round games, what do the stats actually look like then? Like, what are the more serious events where you've got your heavy hitters coming out to play? What does the stats look like then? And then it gets a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, we're dropping down.
Yes. So we have a significant number of games played in these kinds of events. So what this one's tailored for is 4 or more rounds and 20 more players, which I would think you would consider like a pretty high level event. Like there's probably maybe
4 rounds is no joke.
4 rounds is no joke, and then having 20 players show up, I think is the other thing where it's like it's starting to get more serious. You're getting a better representation of how these teams actually play, with a larger number of players at the event. So Aquilons then dropped to 43. which definitely makes it look like a bit of an uphill battle. The other thing was that some of our biggest threats, like Goremongers, I think with this
specifically Goremongers,
I think
within that stats, there's no wins against Goremongers.
Yeah, and the Goremongers are at like 55% win rate. Sanctifiers are also, I think, 56% win rate. So some of the bigger, more potentially problematic teams, this is where their win rates really kind of skyrocket. And I think that's a real testament to what the balance of the meta actually looks like. So I think 47% is probably a little optimistic. I think if we can go into the next couple of tournaments and get a 50-50 win rate, I think we're doing about as good as the average.
Yeah. I think as well, what's worth noting is I don't think Goremongers personally are in a bad spot. I think they're in a good spot. I think, like we talked about last episode, what they do and how they do it specifically turns off the Aquilons.
Yeah.
And I think what the stats show as well, once you get into that number of rounds, 4 in a day, 20 plus players, you're getting more experienced Goremonger players. Yeah. And as we've talked about, if a Goremonger's players knows what they're doing, they know the maths, they can even further turn off the Aquilons. So things like eye above.
Yeah.
being able to double parry them or get an extra attack on an objective. Or Gormonger's player just really has to kind of just use their blood tank to gain an extra attack to kind of negate the double parry.
Yeah.
And there's just so much shooting on this team that you have to really kind of know. It's very different cognitively when you have to do the double shoot, try to double tap a Gormonger unit as well. So it further hurts the Aquilons.
Absolutely. But there is a bit here that we will need to keep our wits about us with. And yeah, just temper expectations, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Are you happy to move on, Nick?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
So we have a day one tournament provided by the Tabletop War Masters Showdown. This is the first one for June, and there's going to be a monthly tournament from here on in June. So I just wanted to touch on, Nick, what are our expectations? You talked about that, hopefully maybe going 2 and 4. What are your hopes and fears and possible matchups as well? Because we have a bit of player data here. The tournament is in tomorrow, so we got some player data to kind of help us.
Yeah, the meta that we're going into doesn't look favorable. Let's start with that. I think the big thing is this is going to be an uphill run. We've also got a couple of like golden ticket / world team championship players coming to this event. So once again, stiff competition. And then on top of all of them factors, I think ultimately, we're kind of, I think what we're going to be leaning on the most is that no one in our local meta has been playing the Aquilons except for Nick and I, and we've tried not to play any of these people. Well, I've made a conscious decision not to play the Aquilons against any of these people. So I'm hoping that that little kind of, unfamiliarity, in a sense, gives us a slight edge coming into this. But yeah, I think we've got to be pretty realistic about, going 2 and 4, like you said, and just trying to hang on really and score points and just focus on the points, focus on not getting tabled, and just try and eke out some more of attrition wins.
Mm.
How about you, Nick? What are you thinking coming into this?
I have not had as many games as you just because I've been busy.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I'm about 4 or 5 games deep. So I've got a feel for them. I'd like to have done more. We didn't into the dark game last night, which probably helps a lot. Just learning the drop markers. And Nick's been kind enough to kind of share his knowledge on the drop markers, what he's been learning with them as well. I think, so this is kind of more, I wasn't expecting to be able to even go to this tournament, so this is a bit of a surprise practice round. Almost. Yeah, surprise round. I'm not taking it, my expectations are low because I'm just like, I'm just going to go in and just try to learn as much as possible. It'll be a good day to learn.
Yeah.
So, so expectations are not too high, but I'm hoping to, just be able to put out a bit of an effort. I think as well we've already started to develop a different play styles. I know when we're versing each other, we've kind of already started doing different things, which is good to see. Which is fun.
It is fun because we definitely. I look at as you do stuff, I'm like, oh wow, I would never have considered that move at this point in the game. That's kind of good because it's been working. You've been slapping. So, is there any matchup in particular? Obviously Goremongers are a factor, but I've been struggling into Nemesis Claw. That's a matchup I'm a bit nervous about. Is there anything
Same
along
here.
Lines?
I think Nemesis Claw is a big one. There seems to be a couple of Nemesis Claws. Probably Nemesis Claw, Goremongers are my main concerns, I'd say.
Yeah, okay.
Just because the Nemesis Claw obscuring is frustrating. It's hard when there's so much shooting and you have to get so close to them and just pretty much exactly trade. So I've been finding that just dropping down right near them and just like hot dropping a melter or plasma into them just to try to get that trade off immediately. But then, you have to pretty much sacrifice your gunners to kill them, and then you're just left with all your other guys.
Yeah. The obscuring for Aquilons is a massive issue because there's just no way to ignore obscuring with them except for being within 2 inches. So I think the other issue I've had is the Vox Scream, because like any other Vox ability, i.e. like the Phobos, they do it at the start of the round. Even with the Mandrakes to a degree with their Haunting Focus, it's like you kind of declare a target at the start of the round, and it's not a big deal to stall that out as an Aquilon player with 11 units. The Vox Scream, though, happens as you activate the unit. So you have no real forecast of who they're going to pick. And that can really hamper your abilities to get in there and take that shot. So, yeah, I think the Nemesis Claw, it looks favourable on the Ko-Fi stats. However, I've struggled up until this point with that matchup. So I'm a bit nervous about that for sure. Okay, where are we next? Okay, and then in a week and a bit's time from now, there is a smaller tournament happening on the Gold Coast. I think, Nick, you're potentially unavailable for this one.
I'm unavailable for this one, so I'll be rooting from the sidelines.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna head down with Briansy, which will be nice. We're gonna. This should be more casual, I think, and most of the people on the list so far, I'm not sure who they are, which is fun to meet some new people. But yeah, I think this one we'll just go in there and see what happens. I don't have a lot of expectations. These guys could be really good. They could be all new. 100% just don't know what I'm going into. So yeah, this one will be a bit more. This will be a bit more chill, and hopefully I can win that Typhon box, Nick.
Yeah, crazy prize.
Yeah, huge prize for the event.
Yeah, huge prize. We're also in a league now as well. We've just started a league this week, so we're also bringing I think the next update would be we'll probably do. We could either do a fresh tournament recap or save it for another week and do maybe we'll just do a fresh tournament recap, because we'll also have the league recap, which we can do as well, so that'll just get some reliable games in. Yeah,
for sure. So I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks, check back in, let you all know how we've gone, see if we've pushed that boulder up the hill, Sisyphus our way out of the Aquilons.
Yep. We are Sisyphus. Aquilons are our boulder.
That's it. And then still, I think at this point, we're still aiming towards the Kill Team Sydney Open in October.
That'll be fun.
But yeah, I think that's about it.